Okay, so we're starting to gear down or gear up to the end of the drums here. Not all the way. So it's time to take care of some problems that I hear in the ride cymbal. The ride cymbals always have problems because when you hit them repeatedly, the resonance builds up. So I'm pretty much liking how that's turning out thus far. We'll need to do some extra stuff to the cymbals later on. I'm just sort of rolling with it for now. But I'm definitely digging that. So, 2 days ago, my iLock 2 came finally after waiting about 5 weeks for that freaking thing, so that I can finally use the Slate Everything bundle that I paid for. And right now I'm looking for that. I couldn't remember what it was called. It was like, there it is, yeah. Verb Suite Classics. This is the first time I've ever used this plugin ever, so I'm sort of just derping around with it right now. Overall impressions are pretty cool. I always start with a preset with a new plugin to see what it does. And once I start to get a really good understanding of it, I'll always, do my own thing after that. But it's really interesting, really cool. So I really like it thus far. So you can hear right away a good plate like adds some depth and some pop. I really like plates on a snare. So when you're doing these plates, you really need to check at the faster tempos for the build-up. So that's what you saw me doing there. You can always automate it. You can automate anything. But right now I'm just sort of dialing in the sound, and I'm going to use this same plugin again for an overall drum reverb. Now I have no idea what to do or what kind of reverb to use, so I'm just going to use a plate again. Now, doing these reverbs and such like that are very important. It's a subconscious thing where you're placing the drums into an actual space. And if the space is not there, someone will go, man, something doesn't sound right. So you have to have these reverbs and stuff like that in your drum now. You just have to have them. Okay, here we go with parallel compression. So basically, the secret is SSL comp. Are you surprised? Of course you're not. Now, with parallel compression, again, I'm sending each aspect of the kit individually to the compressor because I'm really only concerned about the snare drum. I want to have like minus 12-ish gain reduction on the snare hit. and not so much on the kick and stuff like that, because if the kick is overpowering the compressor, it won't work well on the snare. So you got to keep these things in mind. So here I am looking at the meter right now. I'm specifically looking at the kick and snare relationship. So I'm noticing that that kick is really loud, so I got to bring it down. So I got about -4. I got about 4 dB compression on the kick, and the snare is sitting around 12, 13, 14, 10, depends. But again, you got to check it during the up-tempo part. So right now I'm just looking to see what the snare is doing. Right, so it's hovering around 12. I'm happy with that. Now with the SSL EQ, if you didn't hear that, go back in the video and watch. What I was doing is I was making the compression a little bit brighter and poppier. And then I blend it back into the snares. So here's where we are thus far. So I'm messing around with the drums a little bit. I want to now understand how everything's sitting, maybe get a general idea of where we are thus far. And this is just a starting point for the drums. We can always tweak as we go along. But this is pretty much my process for doing drums anytime, whether it's my song, client song, actually all my videos, the demos I do for YouTube. This is exactly what I do. And so I have the drums about 70 to 80% where I want them. I'm checking the pads just to see where I am with my levels. Something in the guitars that I need to work out with, doesn't matter. But the drums are, in my opinion, the single most important of getting the mix sounding really good, because it's literally everything. It's your low end, it's the snare pop, the cymbals, toms, everything needs to cut, because we're gonna have such a busy mix with the orchestral stuff and guitars and etc. etc. Okay, so snare's loud. I'll have to change those levels. The snare's nice and tight, snappy. There's a good pop to it. Very important. But as you can see, with all the plugins that I'm using here, it's not like I'm doing some crazy, witchcraft. EQ, Transient Designer, clipping, and the SSL channel, which is usually just EQ and a little bit of compression. Plate reverb, drum reverb, parallel compression. You can use any compressor for the parallel compression, by the way. You don't have to use the SSL. Alright? Any compressor will work just fine. So I hope this sheds a little bit of extra light about processing drums from, basically a starting point to the ending point. It's no big, you don't have to sacrifice your soul. Just a little bit of practice, and you can get where your drum sound, where you can get it where you want it to be. So that'll cover it for this part, of the drums. We're gonna continue on, start dialing in the bass a little bit, which is super simple. Bass is always the easiest part of a mix. I mean, the bass part, the bass processing, not the low end, just the bass. And then we're gonna move seamlessly into guitars, and then we're gonna have to start building the rest of the song with the orchestral instruments and all these other elements. All right. So if you're finding this series helpful, please consider a like rating and subscribing. Go ahead and hit that bell symbol too, so you get an email the next time a video that I upload pops up on the YouTube. You can get an email notification. All right, guys, thanks a lot. Have a good one.